This is Texans TV.
We've got exclusive outtakes with some of your favorite players. And the Watt brothers have a family reunion planned. Texans 360 starts now.
We are ready to rock in Houston. Rock and roll, touchdown, Texans.
Guess when you think you've seen it all, there's always something else.
Welcome into Texans 360. I'm your host, Deepi Sidhu. It's another great show that we've got lined up for you because you know what? First of all, we've got a Watt family reunion coming up. We've got one of my favorite things, bloopers from an HEB commercial with Justin Reid and Deshaun Watson. Do those guys mess up? They do, and you're going to see that here. But first, it's a big week because the Texans are headed to Pittsburgh. And I had a chance to catch up with Pittsburgh Steelers team reporter Missy Matthews. We talked a little bit about this Texans-Steelers matchup. Take a look. Joining us this week for Enemy Sidelines presented by Microsoft Teams, it is Pittsburgh Steelers team reporter Missy Matthews. So happy to have you. I've talked to you, Missy, at the Pro Bowl. It seems very weird now that we're in season and this is how things are conducted. But what have you seen from Big Ben and his return? He looks healthy coming off the injury, but how has it been for him having just such a weird offseason and not really being able to get back to work on the field until the season started?
Yeah, I think it's just getting a chance to reacclimate himself with some of the wide receivers or tight ends that he knew prior to getting injured of week 2 of 2019, like Juju Smith-Schuster, Vance McDonald. But for some of the new guys, Deontay Johnson's in his second year, Chase Claypool, the rookie, I think it's just getting some of that timing down. I think his arm, the strength, that's not what people are worrying about. Coach Tomlin even said this week, just knocking up some more of that rust as they get going here in the season.
Let me throw a next-gen stat to you presented by AWS. The Steelers rank second in the NFL with 10 sacks through the first 2 weeks of the season. They trail only Washington. Tell me about the Steelers defense. They're always tough. They're always physical. What has really stood out to you this year about them?
How fast they're playing. The communication, you can tell that was a step from 2019 just to this point. I know it's only 2 games, but they have a core group of guys who made such strides last season, and they are back. Mika Fitzpatrick finally had a full offseason, even though it was virtual, with the Steelers defense. And, TJ always says, we want to play fast, we want to be physical, and we're not hiding the fact that we are going to come after your quarterback. Coach Tomlin even said after this game that, other than the field corners, we're going to bring anybody at any time, and that's their game. And they're not ashamed, to say that out loud and to let you know that they're going to bring it. Even just the substitutions in terms of the depth among the defense, to be able to play the way they are, to blitz so much, you have to be able to rotate guys in to give people breaks.
Obviously, the big storyline is going to be the Watt family reunion. So, I know you've had a chance to catch up with Derek and TJ up there in Pittsburgh. Is the excitement level like 100 on a scale of 1 to 10 for the Watt brothers getting to see JJ on the field this week?
Well, I definitely think for them it's special. They are the younger brothers. They've played together, Derek and TJ, that is, in high school. They played in college together. They're now experiencing it in the NFL. So it is, similar to them, but to have 3 brothers in one game, it hasn't happened since 1927 until last year. We actually had the Edmonds brothers, 3 of them, 2 on the Steelers, 1 on the Buffalo Bills, play in the same game. But I just think when you think of the Watt family, you think of JJ first. And I think for TJ, as soon as the Steelers drafted him, it was, I don't want to be known as JJ's little brother. I want to create my own name. And I think it is fair to say, and you would probably even agree, that TJ has done so. I can imagine for their parents what a special moment that will be. And definitely, I know, we've talked to Mrs. Watt before. I'm sure she's going to want the photo of the 3 of them in their NFL uniforms hanging up in a nice big picture frame in their house.
I'm sure it's going to be such a special moment for her. JJ gets asked about it all the time, and I just love seeing the banter between him and his brothers on Twitter. Missy Matthews, team reporter for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Missy, always appreciate the time, and let's catch up soon.
Yes, I love that.
It's always fun to catch up with some of my friends from around the league. You can catch the rest of that interview with Missy on HoustonTexans.com. Well, it would not be a preview without our very own John Harris. He breaks down the Steelers the way no one else can on this week's Harris Hurry Up.
It's time for the Performance Report, brought to you by Hyundai. And that brings us to a trip to face the Pittsburgh Steelers in Pittsburgh. And I don't know if this is fortunate or unfortunate, but there will be no fans in the building, so you're going to have to bring your own juice to face Ben Roethlisberger and company. Offensively, Roethlisberger is back. Now, what I've seen is a lot of short throws for him, and then boom, he'll throw the deep ball. He's holding the ball about like he used to, looking for a bigger play. But he'll throw the ball short. He uses his backs a little bit more. He's got some quick receivers that he wants to get the ball out in space, and then those guys put pressure on a defense when teams have not been able to tackle them. Speaking of not able to tackle, James Conner was back in week 2 against the Broncos and ran the ball really hard. That's trouble, because if he's running the ball, Ben's spreading it out to his weapons, this can be a pretty tough offense to face. That said, they've got some injury issues on the offensive line, especially at the guard position where there is some inexperience. They've taken a former starting tackle, Matt Filer, moved him into guard. DeMar Dotson started at guard. He's a rookie. So there are some people there on the offensive line, and the defensive line, the front 7 for the Texans have got to take advantage of that to go get a win in Pittsburgh. Defensively, oh boy. Between TJ Watt and Bud Dupree and Tyson Alu, who's playing extremely well. Stephon Tuitt, Cam Hayward. That front is as good as it gets. Maybe the best front the Texans are going to face in 2020. With Devin Bush at linebacker and Vince Williams next to him, there are a lot of different things that this defense can do up front with that front. But they can do it because the secondary is outstanding with Joe Hayden at one corner, Minkah Fitzpatrick at safety. Now, if they have an Achilles heel, I do think you can throw the ball on them a little bit. However, the Steelers are going to bring the blitz, and they're going to bring it often. The Texans had better pick it up, because if they don't, it's going to be a long day in the Steel City. If they do pick it up, they have an opportunity to move the ball through the air, but they've got to pick up the blitz. Everybody, it's a team effort. Receivers got to get into routes quickly. Offensive line's got to pick it up. Running backs got to step up and hold and plug gaps. And then Deshaun's got to get rid of the football on time. Do all of that, you can go up there and upset the favorite Pittsburgh Steelers. If not, you're going to be flying back home 0-3, just like you were in 2018. And let's hope that's not the case after Sunday.
Coming up, we've got an exclusive one-on-one with Charles Omenihu. That's next on Texans 360.
J.J. Watt's pair of sacks last Sunday against the Ravens brought his career total to 98. That's tied with Steelers legend Joey Porter for 35th all-time in NFL history. 6. With that pair of sacks last weekend, Watt passed 6 NFL greats on the all-time list. Those names? Warren Sapp, Dexter Manley, Chandler Jones, Mario Williams, Jacob Green, and Simon Fletcher. 100. Too shy of the century mark, Watt will tie Andre Tippett on the all-time list whenever he picks up the next pair of sacks. When he hits 101, he'll move past the trio of William Fuller, Charles Haley, and Cameron Wake. This is By the Numbers, presented by FedEx.
Welcome back to Texans 360 right here in the Ford studio. Every single week I get a chance to sit down with a Texans player. We talk a little bit about football, a little bit about life off the field. And this week I got to catch up with Charles Omenihu, who has started off his sophomore season with quite a bang. Take a look. This week's one-on-one presented by Xfinity on the Deep Slant. We've got Charles Omenihu. Charles, the last time we spoke, it was training camp, so here you are, a couple games into the season. What's it been like to actually get out there and play football? I know it's something that we had talked a lot about this offseason, but to actually go out there and be back on the field again, it's got to feel great, I imagine.
Yeah, no, it feels good. Feels good being out there. Just, you know what I'm saying, it'll feel better once we get a dub on the board, but it feels good.
And then that Baltimore game, you got your first sack. I know you talked a lot about this offseason, how you really wanted to work on your pass rush technique and all that. Did you feel like once you were on the field that a lot of that has come in handy so far, even though it is early in the season?
Yeah, it's been okay. I think I still have a long ways to go. I gotta just hone in on whatever my game plan is going to be that week. I gotta hone in on that and really work it in practice. and then just do it in the game. Don't overthink it, just go. And that's why I think I've been telling myself, just go with whatever the plan is on that rush. Just go with it and try and execute it. And then also work games as well to get a feel of the guy. But I mean, I study whoever I'm going to go against from center and both guards. I study them a lot, just so I have an understanding. So I just know this is my plan. This is what they do, and I'm just go with it.
You know, J.J. Watt said something that I found really interesting. He said that his conversations with you now, as compared to a year ago, that you guys are having like these really higher football IQ conversations. I imagine when you came in as a rookie, you were probably asking him a lot of questions, just being new to the NFL and being a first-year player. Does that come to mind, like the types of conversations you're having are a little bit more advanced?
I mean, yeah, it's just like bouncing off ideas, kind of, and then obviously because we work together a lot on games and stuff like that. So just bouncing off ideas, what he thinks about certain guys, because I mean, he's seen them more than I have. And then just kind of me telling him how I feel just based on what I see stance-wise, tales of what's going to happen before the play, things like that. I think that's what he's kind of talking about. I've gone to the point where I can notice when it's going to be running past and by stance and formation and things like that.
So to be able to see the game through JJ's viewpoint, that's got to be so valuable, especially, you know, the fact that you're a second-year player, I would imagine. Yeah,
just so I can play faster, you know what I'm saying? And then if you know it's going to be a pass versus run, if you know it's a pass, then you can kind of change your mode and then get into what pass rush moves you're going to work based on the guy you're going to.
You talk about wanting to play faster and just being a little bit more instinctive, but how much more comfortable and instinctive do you feel heading into the game at this point this season compared to where you were last year as a rookie? Do you remember where your mindset was at this time last year?
I mean, last year a lot, I was playing majority on third down and then kind of spilling on first and second down. This year, a little bit more playing on first and second down, but just different because I'm playing inside. So I think I have a good grasp of what I'm gonna get. It's just, okay, now how do I play? How do I play it better to become an all-around player and not just a guy that you know can rush, just being an all-around player. And I mean, that's how I feel like you get the respect of the teammates and the respect of the league.
All right, so on Sunday, you're going to face Ben Roethlisberger. He's in year 17. So I was doing the math a little bit. You're what, 23 years old? So when Big Ben was a rookie, you were what, safe to say you were what, 6 years old? Is that about right?
Yeah.
So did you grow up watching Ben Roethlisberger? I mean, it's the first time you're going to face him. What is that like to pass rush a guy that you essentially grew up watching?
Yeah, I mean, I remember Big Ben when they were in the Super Bowl. When they played that Super Bowl game for the Seahawks, I remember the Arizona Super Bowl. So, yeah, I've watched them. But, I mean, just another guy on the list. You know what I'm saying? Another team that we got to play in a game that's highly important, very, very important. Like I said, winning is where everything gets better when you win. It's fun when you win. So that's the main goal. That's the first goal. But obviously, I want to sack him. So,
what about playing in this time of COVID? I know we talked about it in training camp, how different it was, but to get tested all the time. I know this city went through a tropical storm, and you guys still came in and got tested. During the bye week, you're still going to get tested. What's that been like? Have you adjusted to it a little bit more? What's the toughest part, or is it really not? Is it really not really a big deal anymore for you?
No, I think it's a way of how things are now. So it is what it is. You guys gotta do it and then go about your day. So I mean, I think it is what it is. You go with it. Not a big deal anymore.
All right. Well, we're looking so much forward to seeing you the rest of the year. Charles Omenihu on the Deep Slant, one-on-one, presented by Xfinity. Always a pleasure, Charles.
Appreciate you. Thank you.
Thanks. Good to see hard work paying off for Charles Omenihu early on in this 2020 season. He did a lot of stuff this offseason, changing his diet, working on his pass rush technique. He worked out with DeMarcus Ware, and cannot wait to see him get some more sacks as 2020 rolls on. All three Watts on the field at the same time. We catch up with the Watts next on Texans 360.
My dad was a firefighter, And my mom worked herself from being a secretary at her company all the way up to being the vice president of the company. And my dad was hard on us in sports, so you had no choice but to be working as hard as you possibly could and weightlifting and running and having great practices. And then my mom was hard on us in school, and you had no choice but to be getting good grades, doing your homework, doing all the right things. So with that combination, we really had no choice. You know, if you had a bad day of practice, you ran home and went to mom and you talked to mom because she was going to be a little softer on you. If you had a bad report card, you go to dad and you try and show dad. But I think it came down to our parents working extremely hard for what they got in life and teaching us that if we wanted to accomplish our dreams and our goals, we had to work extremely hard and make a lot of sacrifices, which at the time we hated, but now we understand and we appreciate it. It truly is incredible. I mean, just to have all of us playing at Wisconsin was really cool. Just to have all of us playing in the NFL was really cool. To play against another brother was cool. Now to have all of us on the field at the same time in the same game, it really doesn't get any better than that. It's incredible. It's special. It's a testament to our parents and everything that they did and all the people in our lives, our coaches, our trainers, everybody who helped us get here. And it's going to be very, very cool.
Can't wait to see all three Watt brothers on the field at the same time. I'm sure they can't wait as well. Those three have such a tight-knit relationship. They're always bantering together on Twitter. They got the group chat going. I'm sure it was blowing up this week with all the trash talk. All right, you know what? I love those HEB commercials, and I'm sure you do too, and they're really funny, but what's funnier than an HEB commercial with Texans players? The outtakes, of course, and we've got plenty of them from this year's shoot with Justin Reid and Deshaun Watson. Take a look.
Hey, Speed. We're here, you know, me, Deshaun, Toro, shooting the HEB commercial, having fun while we're at it. We're getting a little messy, you know, but that's all part of the action.
Ready and action.
Pop goes the poppers because the poppers go pop.
Pop goes the popper because the popper goes pop. Yeah.
Can't pop this.
Oh, Papa's the morning to you.
What's that? Here we go. Lock it up. Roll video. Roll camera.
Come on, baby.
Hey man, what you doing?
I'm grocery shopping on mine. That is you. Yeah. Now you're showing aptitude.
Wiki pop. You can't go wrong with wiki pop.
Still my face. Oh. And that's a wrap.
Nice work, gang.
Love seeing those two on the field and love seeing them in the commercials. Deshaun Watson, obviously we've seen his acting chops, but Justin Reid, don't sleep on him. He's coming along in his football career and his acting career as well. Coming up, we catch up with some of the best in the Houston community. That's next on Texans 360.
Hello everyone and welcome to the Houston Texans Flag in Schools program. We're really excited, and today you're going to participate in a virtual experience designed to teach NFL flag techniques and proper football fundamentals.
I'm Cecil Shorts III, Texas legend and former NFL wide receiver, and today we are in the lovely NRG Stadium and we're going to play flag. Now Coach Cam and I are going to teach you some drills to teach your students some fundamentals about the basics of flag football.
If you're interested in more flag football information, please go to HoustonTexans.com to find out more about flag in schools and other flag football programs. Remember, have fun, play flag, and go Texans.
It's our final segment of Texans 360. Where has this show gone? Well, you know what? Here it is in our final segment that we highlight those that are doing great things in the community. And you know what? It's been such a weird season with COVID and 2020, but it hasn't stopped the Houston Texans from going out and recognizing those who have done so much positive in this community. And this week's no different. Take a look.
The Houston Texans Star of Courage Award, presented by Apache Corporation, honors a first responder for excellence, leadership, bravery, and commitment to Houston. Each month, a first responder is selected as the monthly Star of Courage winner. Over the last year, the Houston Texans and Apache have honored firefighters, police officers, and EMTs. This year, we're proud to recognize Houston Fire Department engineer Captain Ronald Walker. Captain Walker continues to put others first without hesitation during this challenging time. Whenever the alarm sounds, he and his team risk their lives running not only towards fires, but the silent enemy of COVID-19. Walker doesn't just do this because it's his job, but his true calling. Earlier this week, Captain Walker was surprised at his station with the Star of Courage Award. John Chrisman, CEO of Apache Corporation, presented another award to Captain Walker. John, take it away.
Thanks, Drew. I'm John Chrisman, CEO of Apache Corporation. In recognition of Captain Walker's continued courage in the line of duty, we are partnering with the Houston Texans to donate $10,000 to the 100 Club of Houston in his name to support the families of fallen heroes. Captain Walker, we congratulate you. We thank you, and we thank all of Houston's first responders who work so hard every day to keep our communities safe. Go Houston, and go Texans.
Love seeing people make this city better. Love the fact that you're right here making the city better and helping us make this show better by watching us. That's going to do it for this week's Texans 360. I want to thank everyone that worked on this show, Tyler Sedarth, and all of you out there that are watching. That's going to do it for this week. Be sure to check out HoustonTexans.com and go to Game Day Central on game days. You can check out all of our exclusive content. Anything you saw on this show, you can see more of it right there. So that's going to do it for us. Thanks for watching. And as always, go Texans.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to know when we post new content.